Hello everyone, welcome back to the Generation Y Conservative Show. A couple weeks ago, I had lined up an interview with a local police officer who is also a firearms instructor for the department. He had agreed to do an interview with me because he felt, as I do, that this country needs to put the work in to build a bridge between the police presence and the communities that they serve in. In light of recent events over the last 2 weeks, the interview was unfortunately canceled. The officer informed me that while he completely agrees that now is the time to have this conversation, he isn't willing to risk his job, security, and potentially the safety of him and his family. I completely understand and respect his decision, but I feel this is a conversation that needs to be had and is often biased one way or the other. In a recent working paper study, Roland G. Fryer Jr., professor of economics at Harvard, studied more than 1,000 shootings in 10 major police departments across the country. He found that in fatal police shootings, race was not a factor. However, it should be noted that non-lethal police confrontations like touching, pushing, shoving, pepper spray, and handcuffing are more aggressive for black men and women. When I spoke with the officer I was going to interview, we covered a range of issues and solutions. He acknowledged that while it is scary that police officers are being executed, he also understands the frustration. In his mind, the police force is undertrained because of a lack of funding. He feels that the current training is lacking and men and women enter the field without being fully prepared to pull or not pull the trigger during a critical situation. Over the last 2 weeks, I have seen my social media feeds flooded with people taking sides. People are frustrated with the targeting by police officers, incarceration rates, and poverty among black men and women, while the other side is frustrated with what appears to be a broad anti-police mentality that is calling for militant actions. What do these two views have in common? I believe that we have elected officials, media personalities, and community leaders using labels to further concrete the notion that we are in fact different, and if different, that we must be on opposing sides. The message I have heard from the black community is that they have been singled out for too long based on broad sweeping stereotypes that discriminate their actions before they even act. That making a generalization of a whole group of people based on the pigmentation of their skin is not only unfair but sometimes deadly. The police officers that are truly guilty of racial discrimination in the field and proven guilty are not the police officers that are being attacked in our streets. And so officers who are innocent of such discrimination fall victim to the same broad sweeping generalizations of a whole group of people based solely on the uniform that they wear. What both sides are trying to shout through the fog of media-hyped protests and calls for violence is we are human too. Forget the labels based on the color of your skin or the uniform that you wear over it. Beneath it all is someone just as scared of the violence aimed at them. So how do we start a healing process? One idea that was floated in our simple conversation was that of a panel, be it local, city, county, or state, composed of retired police officers, minority community leaders, faith leaders, and possibly others. The objective of this panel is to review cases in their locale of alleged neglect to investigate the intent and circumstances surrounding alleged discrimination. This panel would then work with local officials and media to present the clearest facts surrounding the case to clear the air of any wild accusations on either side. Make no mistake about it, we are purposely being divided as a nation along the lines of race, sex, gender, faith, and social class to take our eyes off of a bigger issue that affects us all and instead putting us into different groups that encourage us to hate each other instead of love one another to work and get things done, to overcome massive economic and social issues we are dealing with here in America. Let's get back to Lady Justice being blindfolded and presume innocence until proven guilty. Not every black man or woman is a criminal. Let's treat everyone with the same respect. But at the same time, let's also not forget that the last thing 99.9% of police officers want to do is pull that gun from its holster and pull the trigger. They don't want to do it. We are supposed to treat officers with respect, no matter who we are. But I am not blind to realizing that with that respect comes the fair treatment in return. That's where we are. We have to work together to bridge this national divide. It's not just a one-sided problem. It's going to take respect, love, and a little faith for us to move forward. Coming up next, We have a local organization here to speak with us about human sex trafficking. Is it happening here? And how can we recognize it? We'll be right back.